Welcome, my friend, to the InterWebs. I know, it's been a long time. Long time since I've been on this preacher bench. By the way, I sold most of my workout equipment except for this preacher bench and dumbbells, a couple other things, because I just couldn't let this go. I really couldn't. This is going to be a fairly long video. If you don't have time for it, just bookmark it and move on. I want to say beforehand, though, if you haven't subscribed, or if you have subscribed to this channel but you're not seeing any kind of updates, click that bell. It's right up there. Click it. It'll have a drop-down menu, and then click all. And then you should be alerted to any new videos that I make. YouTube is not like it was in the old days. They make it very, very difficult for us to promote our videos, to even allow the people who subscribe to you to know that you even have made a video. And I'm not telling anything new. This is old news, but it is what it is. So I want this video to be a quick, what have I been up to and where am I going with this whole thing? Because I do want to stay active on YouTube. I started my first YouTube channel in 2005. I know, isn't that crazy? But it's true. And I've had various amounts of success throughout the years. At one time I was pretty strong. You know, not so much anymore. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that I just don't put a lot of effort into making videos. And here's why. I just want to tell you, I'm not looking for sympathy when I say this. My life is very, very different than it used to be. My mother got dementia, and it's been pretty bad, to the point where she would, under almost any other circumstances, she would probably be in a nursing home. But the COVID restrictions are, in my state, Ohio, are just horrible. And the idea of dropping my mom off to a nursing home and not seeing her again until the funeral, no. Not something I'm willing to do. I'm also the only person who cares for her. I don't have any other family members in this area. My brother's 2 states away. So I'm it 24/7, 365. I do get some sitters from time to time, which is always challenging. There's a company I used to use, and will again, called, I can't think of it. My brain just shut down. I mean, I guess I'm getting dementia too. Anyway, there's a comfort keepers. They would come in once a week for 4 hours, help clean, do this, that. And for the most part, that was a blessing, but you only get so many hours a year, and those hours are exhausted. So until January 1st, yeah. Anyway, so it's very, very difficult for me to find the time to make videos and edit and post. In fact, I'm not going to edit this. So whatever is in this, it's going to, there it is. So anyway, let me kind of give you the rundown, because a lot of people have so many questions about so many things, because I ran so many different channels. First, let me tell you that I'll probably primarily be focusing on this channel and my art channel. I do have a fitness channel that does fairly well, but it's just very, very difficult for me today, unless I bought content from a fitness a model, which I'm not opposed to, but unless that happened, I wouldn't really have the time to schedule a photo shoot or any kind of a video shoot with a fitness model in order to put new content up on Bam Fitness. The art's easier to do, and you know, the Colonel Richard Hunter channel, as much as I really love politics, it's dangerous for me. You wouldn't believe what my blood pressure gets to. But I will have something kind of important at the end of this video about politics, because it's important to me. It may end up killing me, but it is important to me. But let me talk about the MadBad Voodoo channel first and foremost. The MadBad Voodoo, not the original one with 1 O at the end, the one where the real life videos were first produced. But the MadBad Voodoo channel that was at one point started out as the Krista Blade channel, and then when Krista and I parted ways, I kept the channel because it was my channel. I changed the name at some point. I changed the name of the channel to the MadBad Voodoo with 2 O's channel. That channel was wrongfully, unjustifiably deleted by YouTube. They basically told me I was in violation of their terms of service. Now, understand, that was a big channel. I had 60,000 plus subscribers, tens of millions of views. And yeah, they just, you know, one day I went to log on to it, it was gone. And then after a bunch of BS, they finally said, well, you were in violation of our terms of service regarding nudity. There was never any nudity, ever. But at that time, that was I don't know if you guys remember, if you've been around for a while, you remember that there was a time where YouTube recruited snitches. People that their only goal or their only purpose in life was to watch YouTube videos to flag. And apparently a lot of them flagged my videos. So I did have a lot of females in bikinis shooting guns. Sometimes in lingerie shooting guns. It was part of the whole shtick of the channel. Who doesn't like young, beautiful, women in bikinis shooting AR-15s or AK-47? Who doesn't love that? Apparently, a bunch of people. Most, I don't know. Anyway, so, but there was never any nudity ever. And why would I do that? First of all, that channel was gold to me. Not only did a lot of the videos still make me a bunch of money, but I also directed. I used to get millions of views every month on that channel. I would direct a lot of those people to my OnlyFans, my MadBad Voodoo OnlyFans, and my Patreon. Were the two places that, for example, you could see Julia Steele in a bikini shooting an AR-15 on the MadBad Voodoo channel, but if you wanted to see Julia Steele shooting that AR-15 totally naked, you had to go to my Patreon or you had to go to my OnlyFans. So there was this amazing ability to direct lots of traffic over to those paid sites. And we're talking real money. I mean, my OnlyFans is $50 a month, Now, that's a pretty extreme site. But all the girls that you would see on my MadBad Voodoo YouTube channel would also be over there doing all kinds of debauchery, So, I mean, if you were a fan of Nikki Blade or her sister Mia Blade, if you were a fan of, Miss Molly, if you were a fan of those girls, you could see them in a completely different light over there. So when they took the MadBad Voodoo channel down, that really hurt me financially because I'm not kidding you. That was a lot of money. My Patreon, of course, Patreon did a lot. They got kind of insane too and scaled back on what you were allowed to post there. And so, yeah, the Patreon, which by the way is still the best bang for the buck in my opinion, but it did hurt itself because at one time I had 11 people that were paying me $100 a month for the content that was at that $100 a month level. And once Patreon got done, I couldn't justify charging that. I just couldn't. Which is, by the way, I think it was Julia Steele. It was either Julia Steele or Bobby Banff, one of the two that said, you need to start an OnlyFans. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was Julia. And, yeah, she was right, because OnlyFans is like the Wild West. You can do whatever you want, at least for now. Everything changes eventually. But yeah, all those, Bobby Banff, Julia Steele, Nikki Blade, Miss Molly, a.k.a. Mia Blade, all of those Blade sisters, all over on the OnlyFans, and people were like, oh, $50 a month. But then they would join it, it'd be like, they'd send me a message going, holy crap. Yeah, exactly. So that was a huge hit, having that channel go away. Because then, really my biggest channel at that point was my Colonel Richard Hunter channel. Problem with Colonel Richard Hunter channel has always been that a lot of the people who signed up for that and followed that and supported that were conservatives. And I am a conservative libertarian, okay? You'll never find me in the Democrat Party's camp, but you won't find me, at the far end of the right either. So, but a lot of people who signed up for the MadBad Voodoo channel, they were like, what are you doing taking videos of naked 20-year-olds and doing, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh, God, because I didn't have another big channel. So it became very, very, very difficult for me to use the Colonel Richard Hunter channel as a funnel to those other paid sites. And I didn't have now, Band Fitness was fairly large, but not like even Colonel Richard Hunter large. I mean, it had several videos that were like 1 million+ views, but consistently and volume-wise and all that stuff, Colonel Richard Hunter at that point became my biggest, fastest and strongest horse. It's just that horse didn't want to run to that barn. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were plenty of people on Colonel Richard Hunter fan base that were like, yeah, what do you got going on over there? OnlyFans? What is that? MadBad Voodoo OnlyFans? $50 a month? Yeah. Which, by the way, is why I say that my Patreon is the best bang for the buck, because there's actually a dollar level that you can get into. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I keep funneling back to that, but politics, you know, it's catch-22 for me because the political end of things is very stressful for me. I have a lot of health problems, including a very bad heart. And I took my blood pressure one time after a video that I did regarding Barack Obama, who should be really behind bars right now, or you know, whatever. And my blood pressure was like 180/95 or something. And understand I have a damaged heart. And my cardiologist flat out told me years ago, he said, you are subject to sudden death. That's what he told me. That's verbatim. So when I seen what that kind of content did to my blood pressure, I'm like, Richard, you are a fool if you keep going on that road, because that's a road to ruination. You're planting the seeds of your destruction if you do that. So, you know, so I tried my best to avoid that, although it's been very, very difficult, especially after the coup against Donald Trump. Greatest president in my lifetime, by the way. Yeah, I mean, you know, when I listen to the media talk about the last election and how they're like, they've branded what Trump has to say about it, and a lot of his followers have to say about it, as the big lie. You know, I watched them branding this, and they're the liars. They're the biggest liars of the bunch right out of the gate. Well, there's no evidence of impropriety, but there's no evidence that Donald Trump was cheated. There's a ton of evidence. Just because they don't want to report on it doesn't make it. It doesn't mean that there's no evidence. It's like even the last governor's deal in California, the recall in California. You know, Larry Elder was completely, in my opinion, ripped off in that. And they're like, you know, I don't know if you know this or not, but there was a drug addict who was passed out in his car, and he had hundreds of ballots, mail-in ballot, hundreds of them. And I don't know that you wouldn't call that. Well, how could you not call that evidence of attempted fraud or something? And let me tell you something. That's the guy that got caught with that stuff. But you don't hear about that. That's not, when they talked about the recall and Gavin Newsom dodging it, you know, they're like, yeah, you know, and of course, because of Donald Trump's influence, Larry Elder's already saying that he was, you know, cheated and stuff, but there's no evidence of that. I'm like, what do you mean? Listen, you can call him delusional, but you cannot say that there was no evidence. Same thing with Donald Trump. You can call him delusional if you want. You'd be wrong, but you could. But don't say there's no evidence and brand it all a big lie. There's plenty of evidence. But anyway. So, politics. Politics. I'll try to do some of it. But don't count on a whole lot of it. I will be doing my art stuff because that's the one thing that kind of centers me and de-stresses me. A lot of you know that I do a lot of art and I sell art, and I'm very blessed. I actually have work in a gallery in a very upscale location. I just minted my first NFT. Some of you know about that. And that's an area of the art world that I'm going to be exploring more of. So yeah, there'll be a lot of that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what else to say other than stay tuned. Now, I did want to do a little bit of an update since I'm on the preacher bench. A small update on the real life series. I know I kind of dabbled, walked in a little bit with the Target Oil and Gas fiasco, where the Hillbilly Mafia was ripping us off. Ripping us off. There was a huge gas well discovered on my property, and there was a lot to that story. Some of you remember, some of you don't remember. But that well was destroyed by, in my opinion, Target Oil and Gas. Target Oil and Gas, I testified against them. They became convicted felons because of that. And the president of Target Oil and Gas, Michael Smith, he got sentenced to 10 years. And his brother, Cleo Smith, got sentenced to 5 years. And then Michael Smith's son, he got sentenced to 3 years. So they all went to jail. Now look, if you remember my real life series, especially with Frito and all that, the plan was to burn my house down in the middle of the night and shoot me as I ran out of it. It was a good plan for them. I didn't really care for the plan. I tried not to cooperate with that plan. Well, fast forward years later, my house did get set on fire. It was arson. And the first time they set it early in the morning. There were people going to work. They called the Bell County Fire Department, and they put out the fire. It burned the back half of the house, the kitchen, and my back bedroom. And then I think not long after that, they came back to finish the job, and they burnt that house all the way to the ground. But my mom, there's always a silver lining here. My mom, who has dementia, I was caring for her at the time. I wasn't in Kentucky. I was in Toledo, Ohio. So I wasn't there for, and I always wonder, were they in the bushes with rifles waiting for me to run out of the house? I always wonder that. You know, were they going to shoot me as I ran out of it, which was their plan, which was their stated plan. The only thing I don't know is whether or not it was, I don't really know who it was. I can speculate, timing-wise, it was about 7 months after Christopher Cleo Smith, got released from federal penitentiary. Which, if I was to do something nefarious like that, I would want there to be some space between the time I got released from, he spent 5 years in prison. And probably during that whole 5 years, thinking very hard about Richard Hunter. You know? There's a strong argument, and you know, I may do a video just exploring my thought process on who I think it was that burned my house down in Kentucky. So there may be a new real life video, who knows? But for now, just know my house was burned. They finally did burn it down. Sadly, it is what it is. So I don't go to Kentucky anymore. I don't have the time. I don't have the ability. My mom can't travel like that. I couldn't, even if I wanted to take her, I couldn't. I had places to stay down there, but I just, yeah. And until mom gets called home to be with her family that went before her, there's really not a very high likelihood that I will be in Kentucky anytime soon. And there's tons of stuff I want to talk about in that regard, and also the things that impressed the governor enough to commission me as a Kentucky colonel. So I'll throw all that stuff in there. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Ring the bell up there. It's very important. Ring that bell, drop down that box, click all. That way you get notified. Share this video. I know I'll never have the audience that I once did, but nobody wants to speak to nobody, if that makes sense. If you guys share this video, if you guys like this video, if you guys comment on this video, I will do another video. It's difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very, very difficult. Mainly 100%, really 100% due to my mom's dementia and the fact that unless I actually physically have somebody here to sit with her, she's like a 2-year-old. You just wouldn't leave a 2-year-old. Oh, I'm going to go up to the garage and make some videos now. You just can't do that. They'll end up setting the house on fire. God bless my mother. I love her to death. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you liked what you've heard. By the way, and if you want to go check out my OnlyFans, it's just go over there at MadBad Voodoo with 2 O's. And same thing with Patreon. Appreciate all the support. If you go over there, though, understand you've been forewarned. You will see Nikki Blade naked. You will see Julia Steele naked. You will see Cambria Lee naked. So I don't want you to go, oh, go over there and support me. Go, oh my God, there's naked women over here. No, do not do that. You don't want to see that stuff, don't go over there and see that stuff. That's all I got. See ya! Oh, and I won't be editing this either, so you're going to have to see my fat ass walking. It's the way it is.